Hello, everyone. This is Monica Ramirez, the Warrior of Love, and thank you for being in Soul Talk. Today, we have a very good friend of mine that I appreciate a lot since I met her a long time ago. And she is also has been my teacher in some things and probably more things that are going to come. And let me tell you a little bit about Glenda. Glenda Dawson, she is a multidimensional channel, a soul alchemist and sacred space holder for the bridges of celestial, elemental, and galactic realms. As a first and only known practitioner of paranormal cauterization, she offers a rare modality that heals hyperdimensional scar tissue caused by trauma and interference on spiritual entanglement, restoring the soul field of wholeness. That we're going to be talking more about that. That's very, very interesting. I just wanted to tell you a little bit more about Glenda. Glenda, she works with the Elohim Arcturian elders, Lyrian priestess, Andromedans, and Council of Divineness and support for the dragons and elemental allies. Glenda is also founder of Glenda's Magical Creation Spiritual Center, a nonprofit sanctuary in Pennsylvania, and featured in Host Ascension TV, Conscious Awakenings Network, and her YouTube channel. She's a published author and co-author, and at the same time, you can find her presence has been featured in the world's largest ghost hunt, global ghost hunt, and Beyond Being Human project. And just talking with her is always so interesting, and you learn so many things with her. So I really appreciate you accepting my invitation for Soul Talk again because it is amazing to talk with you.
Thank you for having me again. It's a pleasure. It's been, a little while, so I figured this is good. You catch up.
Tell us a little bit about more about the paranormal cauterization and healing energetic wounds. What is
Uh,
that modality that you created?
okay. Well, that modality that I put out, really, I finally decided to let the world know I do this. I have always been called for those houses or those properties or even those people that are um, possessed or they are haunted or but very negative entities. It doesn't mean that the entities are devil or Satan or evil or anything. It could just be an entity who is stuck. They're very angry that they're stuck and they haven't been able to transition, or they are an ancestral um, being from that person's lineage that cannot be cut off, cannot be changed, and cannot move forward because this person is not learning the lessons. Like, for example, if you're born in this lifetime and you were supposed to finally heal the ancestral damage that has been done, and you're not doing it, the ancestors are going to start knocking on your door like, hello, hello, come on, you signed up for this. Why is it you're 40, 50, 60 and you still haven't done it? You were supposed to get this done. You signed up for it in your 20s. What the heck? So they're going to keep pushing you, and then it's going to become chaotic, or some people call it poltergeist, because doors are going to be opening and closing. Lights are going to be turning on and off. You're going to find scratches all over you because they get angry that you're not respecting the ancestors. Now, that's for ancestors. Say somebody who is stuck in limbo. All of a sudden, they were killed. And then your house, and that was just thrown in the ground. And then your house gets built on top of that. Well, maybe they're angry. They haven't passed away. They don't know if they're here or there, and they're picking up heavy energy. Then a couple comes in before you buy your house. A couple comes in before you, and they're arguing all the time, and there's chaos in the house, and there's drama, and just toxic energy that feeds that energy. So then they become very active. And then, of course, you come along, you buy the house, you do a little light light blessing, a little light cleansing, whatever. And you really don't think about it because you walked in and it was fine, feels fine. But then things start happening. Well, it could be that you have not healed part of your trauma, something that maybe happened when you were 5 years old. And that energy, negative energy, is attached to you. And you haven't let it go. So your soul piece goes, that energy sticks in that little section that the soul piece was, and then feeds off that entity. So then you have a situation now. No matter what you do, everything's bad is happening. No matter what you do, you feel depressed. No matter what you do, you could have all the money in the world, you could have all the blessings in the world, but you're just not grateful. You don't appreciate it. You're not even enjoying it because you just feel heaviness, really, really heavy. So what I do is when you text me, that's a quick fix. You text me, and I, of course, not in person, but in energy, will appear there and talk and see what the situation is, and then smooth everything out. Like put everybody in timeout. Wait, and go to your corners. Everybody in timeout. Wait until I could do this, officially, and then we could talk and stuff and figure out a best way for everybody to um, coexist. Or maybe I have to transition some. Maybe there's some beings that should not be there. Some beings that were just passing by and got stuck on the property or in the house or even in the person's being. So, for example, it's not a possession, but an attachment. You go to a store, you get into an argument with somebody. That person has very negative energy and they vomit on you that energy, right? And you're not careful, that energy is going to attach to you and feed off you. So it grows, it gets stronger while you're getting weaker and you're getting depressed and you're getting this and you bring it home. Now it's got a playground, you and hubby and kids and anybody that walks in through those doors. Oh, it's a buffet. They could just eat wherever. And then you start having moments of short tempered. So you start arguing, things start falling down. You broke this on purpose, and just one thing leads after another. You get a flat tire, which everybody gets a flat tire at some point in their lives. But you come home and then you're more angry because you got a flat tire. I told you to check the tires. You should have listened to me. And it starts to get higher and higher. And so the light goes dimmer and dimmer. The darkness grows higher and higher. And then when I come in, I got to somehow balance that.
This
So,
is very, very interesting because something that I noticed with at least with my clients,
right.
there are many people right now that are being attacked. And not necessarily is that you were lower vibration, let's put it like this, because you can be radiant.
Right.
That is like
But you're a target. You're a
that's,
target. Yeah.
that's like a light bulb with the moths.
Right. Yes. A lighthouse.
Yes.
I'm here. Right.
So that is also one of the reasons why we are getting attacked, or sometimes the envy and competition of others
Ah, God,
too
yes.
that is thrown to you, and
That's sometimes worse than anything else.
this is worse than actually the energy of
Yes.
the human beings.
Right. Right. So yes, and then what I do is I scan bodies, I scan building, I scan everything from. So say in your house, I would scan from one property line to the other, all the property lines, all the corners inward, and see where the the situation is and what it is. And then when I scan it in, then I could say, okay, let's sit down at a round table, because I do this all energetically. So I talked to them. I said, all right, let's sit at a round table. Let's see what we can do. Okay, you need to leave. That trauma happened when they were 5 years old. They already worked through it. They just forgot to dust you off. And where do you want to go? Because the body there, that the host is not available to you anymore. And yeah, but if it's an ancestor or a guardian or anything to that effect, you can then say, okay, what have they not done that they need to do to calm your side down? Because, or are they going in the wrong direction? You know, say at one point, I lived in New Jersey. I grew up in New Jersey. I love New Jersey. And if I could stay in New Jersey, I would have. But my guides, my team, they kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And then they gather the energy, and the troops, all of my ancestors came. Oh, she doesn't want to move. Okay, now we have to do this. So they caused what would be the only thing that would make me move? A big hurricane that would take my house down. And I would be like, you know what? I got it. You've been saying it for 3 years to move. I haven't. My bad. Where do you want me to go again?
Yes.
And, I'm human. I'm still human, and I still have to.
Resistance.
Yeah, it's just the way it is. Even though now lately I just like, yeah, whatever. Okay, what do you want me to do? Let's make this easier. I know I got to do it with the easy way or the hard way. So, because that's the path that I chose. I chose to do greatest good and follow. So, when I sit them all on the round table, I go with each being, whether it's human or energetic, good or bad, whether it's just a energy attachment due to a trauma, whether it's something that they brought from a different lifetime, um, or they picked up at the store, whatever. So I sit with everybody, consult with them, and say, okay, what can we do? And then whatever needs to leave, here comes the archangels. That's your Uber. Go ahead, go. And, and then I also choose some galactic beings that I work with all the time. And they come, and then they take those that are more galactic or more intense, because they have greater power to just kick out, that kind of thing. And then the rest, we just negotiate. Okay, you were buried in this land. There's nothing we can do about it. Do you want to cross over? I could open that light for you. I could open that tunnel, that door, whatever they feel comfortable with. You could go through it. You could come and visit this land anytime you want. But once you go through it, and you get processed on the other side, and you get debriefed on the other side, and then then you could come and visit, and they don't mind the visits at that point because you're not negative anymore.
Yeah.
You haven't been picking up anger because you're still stuck, or anger because you still remember how you got killed, or how shallow you got buried, whatever the case may be. So that's basically what I do, and I do it all energetically. The first is through a text. The more involved part is through Zoom, because I want to face the person that's being affected. If it's a family, they all got to show up on the meeting. So,
And something that I have noticed in several of the clients that I've been having lately, it is
mhm.
like the sensation of the Truman Show. They feel what? And I have gone and I check it out. Okay, yes, I feel this, I feel that, and remove it and so forth, but they still have the sensation of the Truman Show.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay. And it was not only one, it was several clients that they don't even know each other. So they didn't pass notes to each other at all.
Right. Yeah, I know that's always something you got to check. Nope, they don't know each other. Okay.
Exactly. So they
They're
don't,
not they're not giving me the same story.
but it's the same sensation
Right.
of the Truman Show. And that's when I ask to my guides, and they tell me this is right now more common than before because we have a bunch of observers.
Mhm.
And it's like it's not a bad or good energy. Sometimes it might. It depends on the vibration of whatever it is.
Well, what I do with that is I call it dust. That's what I refer to it, or goo, like you know, Play-Doh type of thing. So I go in there and I kind of just broom it, to calm the whole field down. So I broom all the, take all the excess off. So the person feels easier, the person feels more at ease, calmer, and then I ground them. And once I ground them, they don't feel the effects anymore because they are now grounded to Gaia. And then of course, when I start, I call in all my troops, my team. So divine comes in, make sure that everything is light and airy and not heavy. And that's basically when I end up, they feel a lot easier. As a matter of fact, I had someone in one of my group sessions and I did something, similar to that. And he had no feel sensation in his arms. And then when I did that, he's like, I haven't had feeling. Like I could pick up things, but I couldn't feel it. And now I'm picking things up and he's like going like this. Oh, this is how it feels. He started feeling because he had some attachment blocking his field. So when we were doing that, it came out because they were not expecting me to do that. So when I have my classes, I'm like negotiating with each person's, all right, you don't look like you belong here. You really need to leave. Okay, let's call your Uber. And I just, and yes, I know I'm using very modern terms, but I am funny when I'm doing this. Why make it all work? You got to have some fun. So I call it Uber or anything like that, the taxi, especially if it's an older person, let's call your taxi, and they think it's funny. It lightens them up and then it releases easier because they're not so stressed about what I'm doing.
That is
So
is one of the biggest defense that the human being have, that we have two biggest defense. One is love,
mhm,
another one is laugh.
mhm,
They cannot
yeah,
deal with that, with
no,
those.
no, they cannot.
And another thing that, because the cauterization, paranormal cauterization that you were mentioning, is I have noticed that after I have done, let's say, exorcism in someone, there's residuals.
Residue, yeah, yes, that's
And
one of the things that I take care of. And then what I do is kind of the same idea as when you do cord cutting, where you ask then Archangel Raphael to seal or heal that wound where they cut. Well, it's basically the same thing. I call in my team and I say, okay, let's get rid of this. Let's patch those holes. Let's mend them. Let's put medicine on it. Let's put a nice coat, heavy duty wall around that so they don't come back in. So it doesn't come back in. There's no way there, because even if there's one grain of sand, that's a way that they come back in.
the fear is a big one. There's a big grain of sand, is a rock. The problem is that when someone, for our viewers, that they being possessed, or they have someone that is being possessed, and they have to observe that there is a lot of fear involved in there.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you remove the entity might come back
Yeah.
in different shapes or forms. It can come in a song, it can come in different shapes or forms. So just to be picking on you, so like that, you bring back the whole fear, and then they can come back again.
Yeah, because you're feeding them again. You're creating that beautiful dish that you just cooked again. You recooked for you, and they're like, oh, there it is again, and they just go in and eat. So, and I always, of course, after the sessions, I always give aftercare. You do this, for so many days, and you do this and this and this, you know, fully outlined for them, fully documented, fully, this is what what I found, this is what, that's it. If they want to know, some people don't want to know, they just want to feel better. And I'm like, okay, you don't want to know what I got rid of or how we did it, that's fine. Just do these exercises from now on, and you will see that you will start changing your whole perspective on things. Your finances will get better. Your house will get better, it'll be easier. You'll be able to walk into your home and it will feel like your haven again. Not this place that you walk in and you're like tense just because you're walking in through that threshold because you don't know what you're going to find. So that's very important, the aftercare. And then I keep following up with them. I did, I don't just treat them, all my clients. I don't just do a session and then see you got to go. No, I'm constantly following up through emails or text, whatever form of communication they want me to do it to.
This is what do you call hyperdimensional scar tissue? Or what it is, hyperdimensional scar tissue?
Well, say you healed a wound from um, when you were 3 lifetimes ago. Let's just say that. Okay. And that's already healed. You healed it in this, but you traveled. You may have gone back to being a UFO alien, whatever. You may have gone back to uh, what it doesn't make any difference, but you bring it from that dimension to this dimension. And then it could also be if you have a being that cross dimensions who attach to you because you're a perfect host, you know? Um, I had one 4 weeks ago where the man had three different beings. Okay. And one being was very chaotic, very, very negative. The other two, not so much, but they were getting there because he was getting more negative and more negative. So that being came from a different dimension. It crossed over. He had gone to visit one of the places in Vegas where there is a portal. And he did, being very empathic and very spiritual, he somehow forgot to
But
protect himself, right, to shield himself. So he got there, and this being just smelled his energy on the other side of that portal, and he came right through, and he got attached to him. Now, this guy also does a lot of paranormal stuff. So he also goes into places where it's not so nice. So, and he keeps forgetting. I don't know how. He keeps forgetting to shield himself, to protect himself, to do whatever it is that resonates with him. I said, look, if prayer resonates with you, do a prayer. And I don't care what kind, even if it's the Lord's prayer, it's something. It's telling the universe, I'm looking for my protection. I want protection, and I am in the light. And in being in the light, I'm going to fortify my shield.
yes, people forget about the intention that is part of this.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah, they get so hung up on, is it God? Is it divine? Is it creator? Is it this? And I'm like, that's a word. That's just a word. There were no words before. There were no real names before. It was just man-made. We had to call it something because we didn't know what to do with it. We're so dense and we're so limited that, and then, the translations and the rewrites, and I don't care if you tell me that any part of that Bible was originally written and that's how it was written, that's BS, because it was really originally written by many different people from many different lands, few generations afterwards.
that's true.
So, you know, and I'm not saying I don't believe in what people call God. I believe in divine being. I believe in that being that's greater than all of us, who created all this craziness, who's, who's, looking at us going, I gave you free will. You could have chosen the other road, It's like, and you're like, but really? You couldn't have hinted? I would have taken that road easily if I had a hint. And and I say he in a very general term, people, because I get that, you know, like he, she, it. I
It
don't
does
I
not
don't
change.
care. I don't care. There's no reason to define it so much. It's infinite.
Yeah,
It's universal. It's unconditional. It's greater than anything or anyone or anything you could ever face. And yet you have to put it in a little box.
Yeah.
So
Yes. But to understand as human beings, we need to put things in a little square.
I know.
Like that, we can, oh, I know what square you goes. So the definition of God is so big,
Yes.
and that it is hard to put in a little box because it don't fit. He,
No,
she, it, whatever doesn't fit in
no,
any human box that we can have. Right.
never, never,
But I
never.
do agree with you. The lower vibration that we're having, anger, fear, blame, shame,
Yes.
or envy, or competing, any of those are lower vibration energies.
Yeah.
And we're humans.
Mm,
Either in any moment we're gonna feel lesser, or we're not
yeah.
good enough, or we're not gonna feel this. And that's where this beans come in.
Right. And that's when you have to acknowledge you're doing that and check yourself in and say, wait, I am good enough the way I came. I am a blessed child. I was loved into this lifetime. So how could I be unwanted or less than or not good enough? How could I go there? It doesn't make sense.
And as an empath that I am, I remember going to Los Angeles,
Hmm.
and we were looking, my friend and I, me, for tours, or where did we go.
Right.
And it was one to Chinatown Ghost Adventure or something like that. And she told me, let's go. We're like, no, I'm not going. Like, because I am a medium already. I have already a sciences open. So if I go to that, I just want to bring a bunch of beans with me. Like, no, I don't want to go. I'm like, even if I put all the protections, we have to be aware of where
Right.
we're going.
Right.
Either way, we're gonna go to places that we shouldn't be, but not actually calling them like, yes, let's go to a haunt place in Chinatown in Los Angeles. Like,
I live in a haunted house, and I chose that house because it was haunted. It was built before 1900. It was registered in 1900.
wow,
And there's the original lawyer and his wife that uh, built the house, and they're there. They came back and they're there. And so when we bought the house, when we went to see the house, first of all, my daughter and I saw kids in the garage. And when we went up and down, we are like, okay, there's this and this and this. And my daughter's like, yep, and there's something really scary up in the attic. I say, I'll take care of the attic. Don't worry about it. Uh, she actually saw a coffin. Of course, it wasn't a physical coffin, and the person opening the coffin and sitting up and then going back down once he saw her and go like this. And I'm like, yeah, that would scare most people. And she's she's like, it's not that it's scary to me, it's just that I was surprised that it was there. And I'm like, I know, but it's kind of funny. So when I actually owned the house, then I started like, kind of making an agreement. You can live here in the attic. If you pass the attic down, if you go down the attic, then you're thrown, you're evicted.
yeah,
And especially if they bother my kids or my grandkids now or anything like that, they get out. You're not here. You're not welcome here.
I had an experience when I bought this house. It was, well, basically 4 years, no one was living in this house. There was an older couple living here and they died and their
Right.
kid in the house. That's when I bought it. And every time I was painting, there was an old lady that come and sit down and just watch me paint. And at the beginning, I was like, okay, what are you doing here? Like, okay, you're here.
Yeah, because it surprises you. It
Yeah,
doesn't.
exactly. You're
Right.
not you know what, and
No.
then
Right.
there's a presence behind you. You can see their face and all the wrinkles. That's why it's not old lady.
Right. Right.
And and I was like, okay, if you don't bother me, I don't mind you watching
Right.
me paint. Like,
Right.
good, I have company, you know.
Yeah.
But if you bother me, then we need to do something about it.
Right. Right.
And she was
Yeah.
there every night until I got to a point that my kids were getting, Mom, there's something behind it. Like, I know. Everybody like, oh, my God, there. Like, she doesn't harm anyone. She's just watching me paint. That's all.
She was just seeing the color that you're picking out, see if you did it right, see how it looks.
But because everybody were like kind of bothered by her,
Right,
like, okay,
right,
your son lives in the corner over there. You wanna go and visit your family. He lives in the other over there.
right.
You have to live with me because we're not even related. Your son lives over there.
Right.
So she left.
Yeah,
She left completely. Like, okay,
yeah.
and
Like, oh, okay. You told me where. Okay, I didn't know. All right, I'm moving. No problem. Yeah.
no problem. So I'm not scared of entities or things like that. They bother me
Mm,
sometimes. Depends on what it is. It bother me. And other ones, obviously, I have my own guidance that they're always
right,
with me, and it's just a different energy, signature energy that you feel.
right.
That is like, okay, this is not my guy. This is an spirit. Okay, do I deal with this, or they're harmful? They're not, or they're just observing me. Like, okay,
Uh, Yeah, it's like, is it mine to deal with?
yeah.
That's another question because even if they are chaotic, maybe it's not for me to do it. Maybe the person has to learn how to do it, and that's part of their journey. So, it's very interesting. It's still just, yeah, it's really interesting.
Hi everyone, this is Monica Ramirez, the Warrior of Love. And if you have been feeling stuck where you are right now, or if you have felt that you cannot connect with others in the same language or the same emotions that you're feeling, if you're a coach, a healer, energy worker in any of those branches, maybe this is for you. Because we have felt the disconnection for the rest of our family, friends, that we cannot connect to them. And we're so afraid to actually go deep dive when we're getting triggered by our own clients because we're seeing our mirror image with them. My name is Monica Ramirez, the Warrior of Love, and that's my spiritual name. And I take clients from feeling confused and feeling stuck to feeling free, to feeling that they feel empowered from themselves. I created a system, Path to the Heart, that goes in 3 levels. And the first level, it is healing the inner child, healing the parts of us that we've been so afraid or it's very painful to do it. I have done it myself, not only with me, and I have done it with many, many of my clients that I take them to this process. The second level, it is to go more into inner self, clearing the family lineage, to breaking the contracts and vows, learning deeper more about the laws of the universe. And the third level, it is learning how to channel, how to do waking up your and getting online your gifts, your unique gifts that the world so much needs right now. So, if you wanted to know more about this, I am eager to show you and to teach you all what I know that I use every day in my life. So, thank you for being here in this page. I really appreciate it. And this is Monica Ramirez, the Warrior of Love. This takes me to another question that I have, that this is an encounter that many people have, that it is the shadow people.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody encounter a shadow cat, a shadow spider, a shadow person, a shadow something
Mm-hmm.
that is always around there, and everybody have seen that. Some people wanted to ignore them or things like that, but the problem is when they wake up with scratches or with something on top of them or things like that, shadow people on top of them or things like that, that's when it becomes problematic.
Right, right. Yeah.
So,
Well, uh,
what is shadow people to start?
that's just very negative energy. N- Energy that has gone deeper than the normal negativity. But there's also there's like, to explain it easier, it's like two races. One is the spy, that was sent by someone else to spy on you. And they're using them, they have them bound, they created this hold on the chains on them, and they basically said, we'll free you once you go over there and you spy on them and see what they're up to. Because that's where the jealousy comes from. A lot of people do that can work with energy, do that. I personally have never had that kind of insecurity to send to anyone any of those things because it's ridiculous. Um, Even though you and I may be doing the same type of work, per se, we do it differently.
Yeah.
And some people resonate with you, some people resonate with me. So
And right now we're so much, everybody needs it, needs us.
yeah,
Not enough,
exactly.
there are not
Ex
enough people that are doing this kind of job.
exactly. So I so that's that one. And that usually what I tell people is you put your certain things on your windows and certain things on your doorways. The sea salt always outside of your doorstep. And then you have because I create my own spray for this kind of thing. And it's very concentrated. So what you do is
I have my
uh,
own.
yeah, well, mine is from ancestral. I have the recipe from my family. So I do it and then I just tell them just one squirt as you're walking in through the threshold. Everything else stays outside. So you won't be bothered anymore because they can't come in unless you invite them in.
Yeah.
That's something people don't understand. If you're like, oh my God, I'm going to see them again tonight. Am I going to see them again tonight? You're already inviting them in. You gave them an invitation. They're like, oh, can't wait till tonight. And eating popcorn, watching you cook and all that. And then all of a sudden they start working. So I tell people 90% of the solution is your the way you feel, the way you bring your energy, the way you look at things. If you phrase something of, I am fearful of doing that, every single being that's around you that is negative, it's going to give you more fear because, okay, you don't want to do that. No, we don't want to do that. We don't, and they continue, and then they feed off. So it just keeps multiplying. So what I tell people is we figure out what kind of, you know, type of shadow people it is. If it's a shadow spider, that is basically uh, giving you a hint that something bad is going to happen to you. That's my understanding. Now, like I said, everybody has different ways of doing things. So usually I say, okay, be on the lookout. There's something coming up that if you pay attention, you will be fine. But if you don't pay attention, it will not be good. So if you're going to sign a contract, really read everything word for word. And if you have a question on something, ask. Read the little fine print. Make sure that it works for you because they're not going to give you anything extra. If you sign this contract and then you say, oh, I thought it said you're going to give you, I thought you said you're going to give me an extra $100 or whatever. Make sure everything is there. Make sure everybody's on the table. Make sure that your concerns are being met. If there's a lot of hidden things, then get out of it. That's just a warning to make sure that you're careful. Just like when people see snakes. Snakes is also a way to say, keep an eye on things. I have found same snake 3 times in my center. Harmless snake. But I'm like, okay, I got it. There's something that's being sent to me that I need to protect. And right away, I do my heavy duty protection here, my car, my home, my whole family, all my close friends, everything. So they cannot get to me any which way.
I've been receiving once in a while, it's not often, and I do clearings after that, a flavor of garlic, of like the pure garlic in my,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like I did not even, I don't eat garlic, but that day, specifically in those days, I did not even eat garlic.
Right.
And I have it profound in my mouth. It's like, feels like something,
To
someone,
me, that's just somebody who's an energy vampire sending their claws, their teeth to take your energy. So they're feeding off you, whether it's something in another dimension or whether it's a human that's, near you. So but you're doing this show, for example, and somebody said, you say, oh, let me get a co-host just for the time being to help me or whatever, see how that works, to make it, to change it. And that co-host doesn't have greatest intentions. They have the intentions to take all you do, write notes, exactly how you do it, and then woof, they're going to take the whole idea. So whatever ideas you were discussing with them, so they're sucking basically the life out of you. That's why the garlic. The garlic to me means that there's someone who's trying to take your energy, take your ideas, take how you work things. And what people do not understand is I could do, you and I could do a cleansing. You and I do cleansings differently
Yeah.
because we work with different people, they're different entities. We carry different energies. I was talking to my team from the time I was born. I have memory of being in the crib, being 6 months old, and them just for giggles dressing up in the Three Kings and putting the presents in the sofa where my crib ended up being close to the living room because it was the room right next to it. So I would see them do that. I was in my crib just like, crawling around, and I would see these three archangels dressed in the Three Kings doing that just to make me giggle. And that kind of thing. And I'm like, when you're a child like that, you don't think that that's not happening to everybody. And
Right.
then, later on, you're like, oh, okay, maybe I shouldn't have said that.
Yes. We
But
learn to not express everything, all of our experience with everybody. Because
no,
we will
no,
understand.
they're not worth our energy. Not everybody is worth our energy. So, but so I tell people, there's no need to be jealous of so and so. They got a brand new car. Maybe they saved for 30 years to get that car. That's the car that they wanted. And for 30 years, they've been putting money away and they finally get their dream car. Why are you jealous? You should say, wow, I wish I could be so good and so diligent about doing that to save the money to get what I want. So, but people are humans.
It's part of being human. There's always that competition and that envy. And this is basically, it is distortion of love.
Yes.
Because at the end, that's what it is. It
Yeah.
is, I love you so much that I want to be like you. So it's a distortion of love.
Yes, yes. It's sort of a compliment, but boy.
Yes.
I when I lived in New Jersey, there was this lady a block away from me. We used to say hello all the time and all that. Every single time I changed my hair color, within a week she would have the same hair color. She would, if I changed my hairstyle, she would have the exact same hairstyle. We actually used to be fun. I used to go and get different hair colors just to see if she would do it. It got to the point where I'm like, why? You know, it's like there's so many different, and I just took it as, okay, you're complimenting me. You want to look like me for some reason. I don't know why, but you want to look like me and you think that color looks good on me and it will look good on you. Okay, go for it. And then it was like, because I've been coloring my hair since I was 29 years old. When I had my first child, gray hairs.
Oh,
Yeah, I keep saying they really gave me gray hairs and literally since they were born. Uh,
but I understand that because it had happened to me too.
yeah,
Everybody, we have one crazy one that do not accept themselves, so they want to be like,
somebody else.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And instead of, for these people, obviously I feel more compassion
Mm-hmm.
that anything else, because it's like obviously when they find out who they truly are, they might love themselves more than trying to be someone else that they are not.
I know they're going to love themselves more.
Exactly.
I know they are. And, that's one of the things that I tell my students when we do the self-love courses. Or it's a long course, but when you come out of there, you come out realizing who you truly are, or at least, really digging in and learning how to love every single piece of you. And if there's something you don't particularly like, then you can still change it. There's techniques to change things. There's techniques to tools to help you get through those
Yes.
things.
Because that's the base of everything. If we want to
Yeah.
create change, it is self-love. That's where it starts everything. And our
Hmm.
biggest protection and everything it starts with love.
It does. And it ends with love. We come from love, we go back to love.
Exactly.
So,
So what classes do you having right now, classes that you're
well, I am not starting the, what do you call it? The tarot class that's a course, but that is 18 months. I'm not going to start that till somewhere in October. I plan to do shamanism, start that in November, somewhere around there. But I do have, um, let's see, what do I have? I have transformative group healing sessions, and that's once a month, usually on a Friday, usually towards the end of the month. But if I pay attention, if it's like, Memorial Day or Labor Day or something like that, I do it the Friday before, so everybody goes on their little holiday or little vacation. Um, that kind of thing. And that is really a group healing session that transforms your energy. So you release, you have emotional release, you have spiritual clarity, you connect to your supportive team, you connect to your team, you also connect with others that are like-minded, like yourself. And when we do it in a group, the energy amplifies. I'm doing a star seed light body activation. That's coming up Thursday. So, that's right around the corner. And that is basically, I create a portal, sacred multidimensional portal. So the star seeds can then connect to their galactic self. And their galactic higher self can then help them come and ignite maybe the light language that they already know. Maybe they get messages or healing from Arcturians or Syrians or Andromedans or anything like that. Then I have a holistic detox um, coming up in August 21st. And that is basically to cleanse your body, your mind, and your spirit. And I use light language to activate your healing. I do some grounding rituals. I do ritual in general. So what it does is really release any toxins that you may be carrying, any negative energies, any emotional blockages. And you kind of balance and align, because after I released all that, or help you release all that, then I bring in the positive energy to create a full bond. So there is no holes. There is no way for that negative energy to come back to you. And then in September, first week of September, Omni Stream, which is a spiritual healing teaching technique. So I teach and help you reconnect to the divine omni stream, to dissolve any interference again. We all go through a lot of things. You want to become sovereign again, and you want to um, remember who you are, what you do, remember what your gifts are, where you came from, any remembrance, because sometimes we go through life and we know how to do something, we were born with it naturally, And we don't realize that that came from one of our galactic lives or one of our ancestral lives, whatever the case may be. And so it will show you. Maybe it came directly from divine being from the very beginning, and you've just been doing it as a matter of fact and didn't realize it. So that's some of the stuff I'm teaching. Now I do have every Monday night I stream free a Reiki session. So on YouTube, on my YouTube, so people can just get healing for free. I mean, not everybody has the money these days.
Yeah.
So and no matter when you watch it, it still is good. Then I do Thursday nights, every other Thursday night, I do mediumship development. That's also free. If you want to give a donation, that's good. I still gotta keep the center going, but I don't charge per se for that. So I teach people how to connect to themselves, how to become the mediums that they are. And we have a group and, we just give messages to each other and we practice that way. I call myself the circus ringleader, the one that makes sure that nothing chaotic comes in, and I open the session, close the session, keep an eye on everybody so nobody's harmed, no matter where they are. I got some people that come in from Germany on Zoom, so it doesn't make any difference where you are. The energy will protect you. And then I do the Glenda's Dragons Den on Wednesday nights. That, like you, bring different guests, different things. And that's also on Conscious Awakening Network and on Glenda's Magical Creations YouTube channel. And then I do on Sunday nights, I do a 7 p.m. Eastern. Gotta say Eastern. I bring messages from the other side, councils, the original council, divine council, council of 12, council of 9, council of 5, council of 8, and they give us coordinates, and we go there and they take us to places to remember certain things. So to ignite the memory, the remembrance within us. And a lot of people have given me feedback that when they do it with me, um, they actually, some people have been cured of claustrophobia. Some people have no more fear of flying. Some people have no more, because they start to remember that that's not really their reality. That was put into them. And their reality is there's no reason to fear. Just enjoy life and go through whatever life throws at you the best way that you can. And you'll have more enjoyment out of life. So few people have gone from 0 to 200, like doesn't even want to know that there's a haunted house anywhere. And then all of a sudden they're a medium because it sparks in them. So that kind of thing. And we do that, like I said, Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern. And it's a lot of fun. And in between, I do sessions.
I am going to be sharing the information of Glenda down below this episode. So like that, you can get a hold on her. And there's a lot of juicy stuff that you might be interested. And
Thank you.
so all this information that you're giving, it is in your website, right? In
Yes.
glendasmagicalcreations.com.
Yes. Yes.
Perfect. So like that, because it is a lot to retain for
I
everybody.
know.
Like that, you're busy woman. You're a busy woman.
I'm a Gemini. I'm a Gemini, I'm Cuban, and I'm a Jersey girl. There's no stopping. We
No,
just keep going.
yes. And we are workaholics, let's put it like that.
Yes.
Right now they're moving and packing and everything and then trying to do the videos. I have to do this, I have to do that. And like,
Right.
and the other day my daughter is like, Mom, you need to sit down and just relax. And like, can I? And like, oh, I have to still packing and this. Like, no, just relax. Like, okay.
And you realize that what you tell other people to do, you are not doing.
Yes.
Because a lot of the times we should say, just sit there for a minute so you could catch up. Because your body's like, woof, and then the rest of you is like, wait a minute.
Yes, I totally agree. Oh, Glenda, it's been wonderful to have this conversation with you. I would love to have you again in Soul Talk.
Of course.
I have more things that I know I can talk with you about it. And it's
Thank you.
always wonderful to have these conversations with you.
No, thank you for having me. It's great always to be here and anytime, anytime.
Do you
So
have something else that you would like to add before we close down?
I really want to tell everyone that if you're having a rough time, just keep saying to yourself, this is only temporary. And focus on a flower, focus on a picture of of your children, focus on something that brings that memory of joy and raise your vibrations, and you will see how fast that bad moment will disappear.
Yes, it's true. Raising the vibration is so important and it's so easy. And it's so easy.
It can be, yes, yes,
Yes.
definitely.
Thank you so much to everybody for being here. If this video please help you, please share it with your friends. It might be one of your friends needing to hear this video. And also give us a like and write us in a comment. What do you think about all these conversations that we're having? Let us know. Thank you. This is Monica Ramirez, the Warrior of Love, and thank you for being in Soul Talk.